Coming up on this fun-filled edition of the Conference Spotlight, we'll hear from a former Gopher great who is now captain of the Pirate ship.
And we will shine the spotlight on a couple of top-ranked teams in their respective sports. The boys of Blaine and the talented girls of Eagan.
Those stories and a complete check of the prep sports scene in Minnesota are straight ahead on the road we call SchoolSpaceMedia.tv. And greetings, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Conference Spotlight. Tori Holt along with Eric Nelson. And hey, a little shakeup in high school football in 6A.
Boy, the powerhouse teams fell like dominoes. Minnetonka, Eastridge, Lakeville North, they all get knocked off. That means there's some changing in the polls.
Absolutely. My big pick, Eastridge, saw a little adversity. They lose their starting running back, Nick Leach, a couple of weeks ago. They're going to have to replace him to make a run deep into the playoffs. Well, one of the teams jumping up in the polls and should have a nice playoff run as usual, Wayzata, and we start there with the Trojans as we get into the highlights. Homecoming in Hopkins, and they led Wayzata 7-0 until late in the first quarter. Tanner Bedard goes off left tackle and slides in from 3 yards out to even up the game at 7. The Trojans own the line of scrimmage in the second quarter. Austin Gordon finds a hole and rumbles down to the Hopkins 10-yard line. 2 plays later, it's Bedard again, getting into the end zone. No struggle. The Trojans on top. They were there to stay. 40-14 final. We take a look at the polls. Bedard scores 3 first-half touchdowns, and the win vaults Wayzata into the top 5 in Class 6A. Eden Prairie and Maple Grove, they remain unbeaten. Eastridge lost to Cretin-Derham Hall and drops to number 4, while Rosemount climbs into the top 5.
To the 4A ranks now, and a battle of unbeatens in Packer territory. Not Green Bay, but South St. Paul. The Packers matching up with the Tartan Titans, not the Tennessee Titans. Now the Packers led by 2 touchdowns and wanted more before the half, but the Tartans' Amani Winfield does an Antoine Winfield imitation, snagging the interception and keeps the Titans more than alive heading into the second half. In the third, the Packers had a good drive going, but they cough it up again. The fumble is recovered by Kieran Johnson, keeping the score at 20-6. But you live by the turnover and you perish by the turnover. The Packers' Ted Frid reads the QB's eyes and gets the pick 6. This touchdown gives South St. Paul a comfortable lead, and the Packers go on to beat Tartan 33-13. South St. Paul is 5-0 and ranks 2nd in Class 4A. Hutchinson remains the pollsters' favorite after beating Holy Family in the 5th game. Casson, Manterville, De La Salle, and Delano round out the top 5. On to Class 5A, where St. Paul Central might be a force to be reckoned with. They beat Humboldt like a drum to move to 5-0. Up 14-0 in the first, the camera guy takes the fake but recovers and catches up to Garrett Gardner, slashing his way in for the 8-yard TD run, and the route is on. It would get worse for Humboldt as they mess up the snap on the punt. Central's Johnny Zulam grabs the pumpkin and scores the touchdown. The Minutemen make easy work of Humboldt. 56-13 is the final. Central finds themselves ranked 7th in 5A. The top 5 teams all remain undefeated. Owatonna, Chaska, Bemidji, Brainerd, and Rogers tied for 7th with Central is Andover. The Huskies knocked off by the Osseo Orioles last week.
Well, Osceo's next game is against the Park Center Pirates, who have a familiar face leading the charge on the sidelines. Their head coach, Ricky Foggy, who led the Golden Gophers to some big wins in the 1980s, he's hoping to do the same with the Park Center Pirates. One of the great University of Minnesota Golden Gophers of all time, Ricky Foggy, along with Gopher head coach Lou Holtz, put the maroon and gold back on the map in the 1980s. Now, 25 years later, Foggy is back at it again, this time in the green and gold of Park Center, taking what he learned from his mentor and paying it forward.
Coach Holtz, he taught me a lot about the game of football, and also about life in general.
And life lessons are what endures for these kids, as Coach Foggy instills some imperative characteristics in youngsters at Park Center.
The main thing we stress is to do the right thing. You know, we actually be on practice on time. We want you to be respectful, treat people the way you want to be treated, and come out and do your job. You know, when we come to practice, we don't practice maybe 2 hours a day, if that, but give us your best you got for those 2 hours. And the kids are starting to see improvement. And like I said, the most important thing is we preach great sportsmanship. And at the end of the day, we're going to have a lot of fun.
Fun is something Foggy knows all about. It's what he wants for his kids. And he can draw from the 30-year-old memories from his playing days that still seem fresh to the man who lived them.
It's definitely the biggest one is the win down at Michigan in '86 in the Big House. You know, they was ranked number 2 in the nation. Nobody gave us a fighting chance. And that was actually the year after Coach Oates left. And so we go down there with Coach Gutekunst, and we didn't have anything to lose.
Neither does Park Center, and Coach Foggy knows that. That's what he preaches. Nothing to lose, playing the underdog, and like he did throughout his career on University Avenue, play it with that childlike enthusiasm.
He always tell me when I'm coaching high school kids, remember when you was in high school. And it's true. Coach treated me real well with a lot of respect, and I respected my high school football coach. And that's what I want from these kids that I'm coaching today, is that when they look back 20, 25 years from now and say, man, I really had a great experience in high school.
With all his accomplishments as a pro and the memories as a Gopher legend, Foggy hopes he can build a few more in his time as a Pirate head coach.
I got a lifetime contract, so. You know, we play in a tough conference. Northwest Suburban is a tough conference. And so we just keep working hard. Hopefully we got some things working in our favor in the next couple of years to redo our schedule. But, you know, we'll play whoever they put on our schedule.
Just like the Gophers did in Ann Arbor that special day in 1986 when Foggy helped turn the impossible into a reality. Well, the Fog Dog getting things turned around over at Park Center. Hey, don't go anywhere. We got a lot more to come right here on the Conference Spotlight.
That's right, the fog has lifted on us. We're going to focus on volleyball next. Egan's Wildcats have become a power. We'll go to the South Suburban Conference coming up next on SchoolSpaceMedia.tv. And welcome back to the Conference Spotlight, where they are digging volleyball down there in Egan, Tori.
Egan has won 14 in a row. They are trying to make it 15 in a row against Eastview. The #1 team rolls in. The Wildcats were as advertised the first couple games. Junior Madeline McNeil takes the set from freshman Bree Orr, and McNeil deposits the kill nicely. Egan takes the first 2 games, but Eastview avoids the sweep. They battle back. Paige Running banks the spike off a couple Egan blockers to win the key point. In game number 3, it's 2-1. But Coach Kathy Gillen Melvu watched her Cats respond in game 4 as Taylor McNeil, the dominant senior hitter, does just that. She dominates. Egan takes a conference showdown 3-1. Well, next up on the schedule for Egan is a battle with Lakeville North, winners of 2 of the last 3 state championships. Andy Price has more on the success of the Egan Wildcats.
Just like learning the ABCs, the Egan volleyballers have schooled their competition so far this season. The program, with 4 state championships to their credit, features a squad of all-around players who both attack and defend. Leading the charge is senior Taylor McNeil.
We work really hard in practice, we put it all together, and we have a great coach, so we've always had a pretty good team, but this year we're really kicking it in gear. So,
winning always brings smiles, but the Wildcats genuinely seem to have fun and stay positive even the few times this year when things have gone wrong. A fact not lost on a coach that has built title teams in her 2 decades in Egan. She thinks the team ranks right up there with the best teams in her tenure.
I've been asked that question a lot, actually, and as far as, I would say this is in the top 3 of teams, especially with who they are. I mean, on the court, they're fabulous girls, and off the court, they're fabulous girls. They're just such a fun group to be with and coach. And we've really had a fun season. We've had a successful season, and we've had a very fun season, so it's kind of nice to blend those two together.
Coach Gillen Melville used the word fun multiple times to describe the team. Much of that fun might be generated by the crowd. The students rally around the team and create the pit, and their enthusiasm is contagious.
It's really fun and exciting to have them here. It helps us out a lot.
The Pit is the best fan group in the state by far, by far. We appreciate them so much, and they follow us on the road, and I mean, they've driven over an hour before just to come and watch us, so it's awesome. It's very, very awesome.
The fans are fun, the team is fun, and make no mistake, they are good. In the next few weeks, we will find out how good they are as they make a run at a sectional title, where teams like defending state champion Lakeville North wait. Coach thinks this team has the right approach.
That's one thing we've learned when we played, Chaska's obviously a great team, and Blaine, so we have played some really great teams too, and one thing I found about this team is a lot of composure. If they get down in a game, they still rally to come back. If they lose a set, they still can rally to come back and win a match. So, that's again something that you try to work the competitive side in practice and create competition in practice, but sometimes you can't create that composure. That's kind of a gift that this team has.
We just push really hard in practice like we always do. It gets a little bit more intense. It's kind of been our thing all season because we want it so bad, and this is our year.
Reporting from the pit in Eagan, I'm Andy Price.
And thank you, Andy, for the nice story on the Eagan Wildcats. Well, here are the rankings on the 1st of October. You see Lakeville North is still in the top 3. Eden Prairie won the title in 2011, and they remain in the top 10. And breaking into the polls this week is Champlin Park. Remember, we featured the Rebels on our last edition of the Conference Spotlight. Well, we will transition now from volleyball to soccer as the Conference Spotlight show rolls on.
And we're going to look at a couple of #1 teams, including the Blaine Bengals, a perennial power trying to take the last and greatest step toward a state title. Stay logged on to schoolspacemedia.tv. We want to let you know that there is another new element to School Space Media in 2013. The Fan app is now available on your mobile devices. Get your team's schedules for the 2013 fall season and get outstanding deals from the School Space Media advertising partners at each school. The School Space Media Fan app is absolutely free and is available for download at the iTunes App Store and Google Play, and maybe someday a Torrey Holt Fan app.
Absolutely. Do you even get it on your flip phone? Hey, how about the Como Park boys soccer team that went to the state tournament last year before bowing out in the state quarterfinals? Well, this year they're back. They're scoring goals in bunches, and they're trying to return to the state tournament. The Cougs were on the road in Woodbury taking on New Life Academy, and they led 2-0 when they tallied again late in the first half. Abdikaran Dirier right foots it from the top of the box and finds the back of the net. 3-0 Como at the break. A few minutes into the second, a penalty shot for the Cougars again, and it's Will Kidd shooting like Billy the Kid. Como stays unbeaten with an 8-1 win. And as we look at the rankings, you see they reside in the top of the Class A poll with Breck, Blake, St. Thomas Academy, and Benilde St. Margaret's rounding out the top 5.
Well, in Class 2A, the defending champion Eastview Lightning are ranked 5th. The Oliver twins have the North Polars at number 4, but right now owning the top spot is the Blaine Bengals, and the Bengals are a soccer powerhouse. And as we found out, they are on a championship mission. The Blaine boys soccer team is a chemistry class on the field. The Bengals are on the same page and always in sync. Their cohesion has resulted in plenty of success.
I think it begins with chemistry. We've had a lot of guys play together for since we were 8 years old, and I think that's a big part of why we're so successful this year.
We've been playing on the same club team since freshman year, so I think it's mostly the chemistry and us working hard together.
The Bengals are also a tight-knit group off the soccer pitch. These kids really do get along.
I mean, we do everything together, from team sleepovers to just hanging out every Friday night. I mean, it really brings you together on the field and off the field. It's pretty awesome. It's a pretty special thing.
The Bengals have played like Tigers this season. They are the top-ranked team in Class 2A and have a good blend of talent. Jason Sheeler is a 4-year starter and a goal-scoring machine. Senior Asher Bates has soccer in his DNA because his father and uncles were pro players in Liberia. And Jeremiah Strand is a quick and shifty midfielder.
I'm very proud of this group. We don't have to chase them around. We're not dealing with any suspensions or anything like that. They've really, it's a great group to work with. Probably one of the, I'm going to say one of the top groups that I've got to work with in my entire career.
Blaine coach Barry Aerosmith is now in his 15th season running the Bengals. He has created a winning template that allows players to thrive. On Aerosmith's watch, Blaine has been to the state tournament 9 times, including a 4th place finish in 2005 and a runner-up spot in 2012. The only thing Blaine hasn't done is win a state title, but maybe that is in the cards this year.
There's a lot of things lining up. 25 years, could get to 250 wins on my career. You know, it's kind of, it looks that way. The boys are really, that's our goal.
Last year we came very close, but this year it's our goal. We've been pushing to win the state championship, so trying to get it done.
Well, Tori, that was a fun trip to Blaine, and one thing that I quickly keyed in on, it's a championship or bust mindset with the Bengals.
Well, we'll be wishing the Blaine Bengals the best as they get into section playoffs just a couple of weeks down the road. That's going to do it for us in the show. Make sure you catch it next time as we have the battle for the Apple Valley in Eastview. Also, a new team into the top 5, the Rosemount Fighting Irish. They're going to host Lakeville South. We're going to have highlights of those games.
Some fabulous games on the docket. Must-see TV here on SchoolSpaceMedia.tv.
That'll wrap it up for us on the show. For Andy Price, for Eric Nelson, we'll see you next time right here on the Conference Spotlight.